Welcome back. This question is from Grow with Genesis. Hey, girl. She asked, how do you build your creative storytelling muscles or keep yourself on the edge in the sea of AI? It's too easy to default to AI for everything. Okay, as usual, let's start with the first part of the question. So, how do you build your creative storytelling muscles? I think you're kind of seeing me in action. The repetition is the best way to flex the muscle of any skill you're trying to develop. And let's use the gym as a analogy because I think it's probably easiest for us to visualize. But if you've never been to the gym before and you go in there trying to lift really heavy weight, you're not only going to collapse and hurt yourself, but you're never going to want to go to the gym again because of the weight, the literal weight of the embarrassment and the pain. So sometimes we try to come out the gate telling these large, colorful, vulnerable stories when we haven't even let people know what happened to us this year. So maybe a lot of our journey isn't so much how do we tell these compelling stories? It's how do we get consistent and feel safe enough to deliver a version of ourselves that is most true. Some of us are still putting on a facade of like, some of us are still telling stories that are no longer ours to tell. Some of us are still living lives that we've outgrown, or we're portraying it online, but we've outgrown that version of ourselves. So I think the best story that you can tell today is who you are now, who you are becoming soon. Let people start there. And then if you want to work your way backwards to something that feels more vulnerable, more aligned, more creative, then you can. So if the average person is saying, okay, well, I've never posted anything vulnerable online, I'm ready to show my face on camera, I'm ready to restart my Instagram journey from a place of alignment and authenticity. What do I post first? I think I literally told this to a client. I was like, post anything. If you haven't posted, okay, let's say if you haven't posted in the last month or more, this is for you. Post a selfie, post anything, post flowers, post something just to see that it's not scary and it won't kill you. We just need you to like break that seal of posting. So literally, it doesn't matter what you post anything in the next 24 hours. Okay. For those that haven't posted in less than a month, maybe you posted 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago or in the past week, this is for you. I want you to reintroduce yourself to your audience in a way that feels natural, but also kind of like you're meeting a stranger or you're catching up with someone that you haven't talked to in a long time. You go to a party and you are like, dang it, I knew I shouldn't have been here. Why am I here? How do I get out of here? I don't want to be here, but I am. So how do I make the most of this 1 hour that I'm going to allow myself to push through, meet people, and um, have somewhat of an enjoyable experience? And so the first thing you probably do is you scan the room. Okay, I see a bunch of mothers, I see a bunch of travelers, I see a bunch of entrepreneurs, and I see a bunch of musicians. Go to the demographic that you feel the safest with, and this is going to make sense in a minute. Go to the corner of the person that you don't feel you have to perform for. Most of our lives, we have performed for love, we have performed for acceptance, we have masked for this idea that I hope they allow me to belong here, or I hope I'll find belonging with this demographic. Go to the corner with the people that you don't have to perform for. And this is actually going to be the core of your audience. Who can you show up for in your audience that are currently following you today that you feel safe to be all of you? And let me use myself as an example, because when I started being more visible as a business coach, I didn't feel like I fit what business coaches looked like, how they sounded like, what they acted like. I mean, I was traveling half the year. So I also felt like people saw me as this carefree spirit who wasn't capable of running a seven-figure, multi-million dollar personal brand. I actually don't think people knew how much I was earning while I was just working half the time and traveling for the rest. And I kind of downplayed like my business because I didn't think that people saw me in the way that they saw other successful or powerful business coaches. And so I thought, well, I guess I don't want to compete in a lane where I already feel like people don't think I belong because of the way I live my life. So let me just stay here and just be who I am. And so when it came to talking to entrepreneurs, I kind of downplayed how successful I actually was. I never wanted to share the screenshots of like what one day of income looked like just from digital products, just from me posting on the internet, marketing content, what it looks like to get 300 people buy your digital product in a single day. Like that's a lot of money. And it felt sleazy for me to share a screenshot of that. But I felt like that's what I needed to do to validate that I knew what I was doing. So I was like, I'd rather just not do that and allow the people, however they find me, to come and then be pleasantly surprised. So I kind of thrived in this underdog way where I didn't want to be seen as too powerful because back then I was really leaning on relatability as a business strategy or marketing strategy. Now I lean on respect. I don't care to be as liked or relatable now. I'm like, I want to be respected for the way that I show up in the world, for the work that I do, for the way I lead with values, for the way I don't back down when it's time to say something hard. I say it with my whole chest. You'll never have to doubt what rules and runs my life because my integrity is at the forefront. That now is uh, very much a part of my brand that people can see. So, Genesis, which, um, yeah, and I think let me see how to circle back to the room. Okay, so I want you to write four corners of the people that currently follow you. So you can name what those people are. Maybe they're different from the examples that I gave. And then whoever you have decided is going to be the safest person to talk to, let's say it's travelers, go to that corner and then go to that corner think about how you would introduce yourself to travelers literally in real life. And I want you to show up with that energy as if every video that you create on Instagram is for the version of the kind of person that you would talk to at the party. It's the laid back, easygoing, carefree solo traveler who loves adventure. And when you're talking to someone that speaks your language of love for travel, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to fake. You don't have to posture. You don't have to hide. Like you can just exist because you already feel safe with them and what they love. So I would say lean more into that voice so that you don't feel like you have to really dig deep for the compelling stories. Because those of you that are already being consistent and showing up semi regularly, you're likely treating your page as a diary and not as much as a resource. The only people that can really get away with posting as diaries are celebrities. Celebrities, artists, musicians, public figures. We actually desire that level of intimacy where they're sharing diary like posts because their art or what they're known for is at such high level, it has so much prestige that we want to like connect with them at a level we can understand because we don't know what it takes to write an 18 song album and produce it in a month and fund a multi-million dollar um, series of music videos. Like the level of business mogul that's required to operate as some of these celebrities and musicians do, we can't relate to that. So it warms our heart to see a selfie in a bathroom that looks very normal because then we feel like, oh, Beyonce is just like us. She takes a poop every morning too. And that's honestly what social media is about. Who are the people that understand how we live, what we look like, what we do? Um, yeah, so it feels oversimplified, but that's really what it is. Okay, let's move on to the next part of your question. So, oh, actually, let me go back. So, the muscles for creative storytelling, I would say remove the creativity, just do the storytelling. So, if you are going to the gym and you're wanting to do all of these complex exercises, or maybe you're getting on a Pilates reformer machine for the first time, which I have tried to do by myself, and now I understand why people need Pilates instructors. So you recognize, okay, let me just start with these free weights because these dumbbells feel pretty easy and I can sustain myself just doing this and just doing, basic movements. So I want most of you to come back just telling basic stories so you can exercise the muscle of, I have this thought. Oh, I want to say this thought. Oh, do I like how that came out? Oh, I wish I could take that back. Oh, I can. Oh, let me try that again. Oh, you get to go through that process of like in real time self-editing. And the way that I'm even sharing and talking on camera now, a lot of times you're seeing me in the moment think of the thought, process it, download it, and say it in a way that I hope resonates with you all. But if you had me do this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would be like, hi, uh, so hi, I would be a wreck because I had no confidence in myself. I had no repetition of showing up consistently, and I wouldn't trust what I was saying in real time. And I think over time, I've done at this point over 1,000 coaching calls, which is crazy to think about. If y'all saw the back end of my Zoom, you would be like, this woman is crazy. Both group and individual coaching calls, over 1,000 over the years. And that has helped me, like that is my repetition. That has helped me show up on camera or deliver a message in a way where I can pull 5 analogies, 6 stories, one metaphor, 2 books, and a resource for you to take away. And I don't have to have this lesson plan or note plan. And, if I'm doing a keynote, of course, I'll formalize it in their structure. But I do enjoy this process of just sharing in a conversational tone that allows you to kind of take away what you need. But if I were to say, okay, you know, this is the goal, this is the task, that might feel over formalized. Whereas you just need to pull away whatever part that I'm sharing that relates and resonates with your story and journey. Okay. And then in the edge, how do you keep your edge in the sea of AI? So I've mentioned this before. I know that ChatGPT is really tempting in terms of searching or typing in, write my caption, write my thesis, help me. For going to ChatGPT like this, it's this orb, this magical orb that can just create for us. And ChatGPT is at its best as a brainstorming partner or a debate partner. That is how I utilize it. I will say, and not even type, but say, the voice note feature is incredible. I will voice note it, blah, 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 word vomit. Here's what I'm thinking. Blah, 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 blah. Here's what I heard because and then blah, blah, blah. And I remember one time when I did it, actually, scratch that, delete. Blah, blah. I am my most chaotic genius self with ChatGPT, and I can do that because I know it won't judge me. And in the past, when I've taken on like, maybe I had a contractual um what do you call it, assistant for like work we're doing for a brand, and I'll like share my ideas and I'll always judge myself in the moment because I'm like, man, this sounds probably so crazy. Like this probably sounds really dumb to her. But the way that I think and process is in color, and it's in a way that maybe doesn't always make sense. And so with ChatGPT, I don't have to self-censor or edit. In the moment, I can just say it how it comes out. And because it's learning my style and my brain and my patterns, it also understands me in a way that no human has in the past. Even Stefan has limits. My brain doesn't always have like a dial where you can just like, no more good ideas, no more creativity after midnight. If I have a creative idea, I'm like, oh, babe, babe, babe. He's like, Beba, okay, okay, Beba. I just remember, 6 p.m. My brain shuts off. And I'm like, we have a business thread for our companies. So we have like our relationship chat, and then we have a business chat, and then we have like these random chats so that I can compartmentalize the parts of me that just chaotically dumps everything at once. And so I'll like remind myself to like send the idea to our business thread, and then I'll preface it with like, do not open until tomorrow, non-urgent. And we've created like these systems for ourselves because it's necessary when someone is neurodivergent and has all the ideas nonstop all the time. And the other is neurotypical and has a healthier boundary with work. They turn off at a certain hour and they live life and they see the world in black and white, whereas everything is in colorful rainbow glitter. And I love it. I honestly, I love my life and I love my brain that it operates like this. So yeah, um, allow ChatGPT, and maybe you can use this prompt, but say, ChatGPT, pretend you're an interviewer. Ask me 20 questions to help you get a better idea of who I am, what I love, how I want to show up in the world, and what I can do for a living on Instagram. Let it interview you and literally just answer the questions. You could even voice note it back, you can type it back, but use that as like a formal assessment. Feed that back because the ChatGPT has a project option where you can now import, maybe this is in Pro or it's in free. I recommend Pro, but you can import files and train ChatGPT based on the project. So I have probably 20 project folders, and each one is trained and operated differently. And people can make their own custom GPTs, but let's not get too deep into that. So, anyways, you train this thread of GPT to understand that everything that you're going to talk about in this thread is related to understanding who you are as a public personality and the business that you're trying to build on Instagram. So you feed it back the assessment questions, and now it saves that memory and those answers forever. And so you can just use that moving forward, and it can now have that intel, so you don't have to keep redoing it. And it's too easy to default for to AI for everything. Yeah, yes and no. I love how much capacity AI has freed up for me. Whereas in the past, I would just have all of these sticky notes, all of these pages, all of these text messages, which I'm actually happy I no longer have to do. Whenever I had an idea, I would text it to myself. I have like a private text chain that's just called ideas. And have an alarm every Friday to say, read your text, read your ideas, just so I can bookmark and make sure that I'm actually revisiting them. And in one single week, I could have 80 different texts that I send. That is overwhelming, and that takes a lot of energy to constantly go back and reference and make sense of. So if I put that into ChatGPT or Poppy I can now like trust that it is formalizing and categorizing all of my chaos into something that can make sense later down the line. And I can always tell it to reference my ideas later. I can create a private thread called an idea list and yeah, move from there. So it's really a benefit that we have ChatGPT to help us organize our brains in a way that is more productive and systematized. So yeah, that's my answer. This is a bit of a quicker video because today's my coaching day with my VIP clients. So I'm recording this video in between my sessions, and I'm on fire because like all of today has just been about doing the thing, leaning into the version that we are afraid of. And we're afraid of upsetting a certain type of person once we fully embody who we know we can be. And the sooner you allow yourself to say, yeah, I'm ready to disappoint people, the sooner you'll lean into that version and be like, oh, it's safe here because now anyone that follows me here has accepted the growth, has accepted who I'm becoming. And if someone wants you to stay small to accommodate them, and maybe for you to stay accessible to them because they might not be able to reach you or afford you at that next level, they're keeping you small for their benefit, not for yours. So keep that in mind. Today was good. Great question, Genesis. I hope this helped. And for any of you that are new watching, be sure to check out the product description where I talk about the creative reset. This is a 90-day daily coaching guide. Hundreds of you, almost 1,000 of you have purchased it this month. I am blown away. I'm so grateful. And I hope it continues to free you all up from this chaos of, can I do this? Am I worthy? Should I, I have literally built a career of just going for it, and it's built me an incredible life. So I want the same for you. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow on the next video.